Australia's a land skywide in space and sunshine. Just the place for a home. The kind of home everyone should have. Our architects design ideal homes by the thousand. Good homes, modern homes. Sun-trap, cantilever, bungalow, Georgian, colonial, Tudor, to suit anyone's tastes and needs. Real homes for families to live and grow in decent surroundings, in the manner of our 20th century civilization.
Well, I think in those days, it's like the Australian dream now. People like to own their own little bit of Australia. So I think most people, if they could afford to, bought a house or, paid for it on the, as they say, the time payment plan, because very few would be able to pay for it outright. But that's, I think, the main reason, because it was like owning a little bit of your own, something of your very own. In 1954, Harold and I became engaged, and not long after we decided to buy a block of ground and keep it until we decided to build a house. And we were married in July 1954, and I became pregnant the next year and decided then that it was time to start and build. We'd been looking around at plans and all that and decided to make up our own design from a lot of different plans that were around.
So we began studying the homemaking magazines and the house for sale advertisements. We looked at all types of houses and flats. Lovely places.
Some of them. Australia's history reflects many architectural styles of housing. Now, naturally, a migrant might not expect to afford the more luxurious of these, but many new settlers have prospered so well after some years that they do own fine houses.
Well, I came out in 1956, and I lived with relatives, my uncle, that is, in his house, boarded with him. First thing, of course, was to get a job, which I got very quickly. I think it was about the fourth day I got myself a job. And then I suppose I set about setting the groundwork to build a house or buy a block of land or whatever it was that I was going to do. And then I went about looking for a house, a plan rather. And I looked through the Sunday papers and I came across this plan, a very basic plan. It was called a ranch-style house. It was an oblong house. 3 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, the usual. And the price seemed right. They had a scale of 3 prices, one for a fibre house, a weatherboard house, and a brick veneer house. So I thought the fibre was the one that I could afford most. So I went ahead and signed the contract. So I thought the whole thing would be over in about 3 months, but it took quite a bit longer. And it was about Christmas 1959 when I moved in. And it was August 1960 when Lillian came out and joined me here.
When I got off the boat, I didn't know what to expect, really. But when I arrived here, there was this small house, all in dark egg blue, apparently. It was blue, and there was a lot of free land outside. It was a lovely sunny day. The house with big windows and really nice and clean and new. I thought it was wonderful.
Construction started in 1954 and was finished in 1955. The reason at the time to build the place was that it was far more economic to be an owner-builder because of the labour shortage, the skilled trades. And by doing it, we saved approximately £800 at the time, which is quite a large amount of money.
And another thing too, at that time, bricks were extremely expensive, more so than they are these days. And they built a double brick. They didn't build single brick as they do these days. So that was one of the reasons we
too expensive
we
to build.
took on the ready cut.
Artisans, labourers, professional men, shopkeepers, office workers and their wives, spending their weekends and leisure times in creating their future homes.
It is here that we see the characteristic Australian qualities, forged on the goldfields and in the fighting lines by diggers of 2 world wars. An easy proficiency in age-old crafts wedded to a high level of technological know-how in the new age of mechanization. Newspapers and journals in a wide variety of tastes instruct readers ever eager to learn the latest trends in home planning and decoration.
In the plan originally I had the laundry between the bathroom and the kitchen because I wanted to put a storage wall in with a 2-way door that I could put clothes into a basket, go into the laundry and pick them out, and I didn't have to carry them. The 2 doors would have been exactly close together, but after the talk with the parents, they sort of influenced us young people, and we changed it and moved the laundry to the far end of the house, which meant that the sun didn't come into the dining room as much as we would have liked. But, you know, it's just one of the... You can never, ever have the perfect house. I don't think anyone has ever had the perfect house.
I suppose many sketches to support the theory that a small kitchen was a great advantage to the lady of the house or whoever it was in charge of the kitchen, because she or he didn't have to walk around too much to prepare a meal or whatever. So the distances were short.
Yeah,
It was
I'd like
all
to see that film.
it was all measured out. It was all set out with statistics. So that didn't really affect my choice at all, because at that stage it was mainly a question of cost. It was mainly a question of let's get the house built.
Take this couple, for example. They've saved up £700 and bought a block of land. The house they want to build would look like this when completed. Timber and fibro, 5 rooms, modest enough, 4 walls and a roof.
Looking back, I think they had a booklet, didn't they, with
The choice.
various choices of whichever suited your land. Well, this seemed to suit the land. So we looked at, and what we liked about it too, it wasn't just straight fibre, it was broken up with a bit of brickwork and a bit of timber.
The original design of this one had what they call a butterfly roof, was 2 opposing inward sloping cement fibre, which I didn't like the design of, and they suggested this one. I don't think this was a standard design from memory, I'm not sure.
Cream brick veneering and wrought iron and chrome. This is the way we build our home. Wall-to-wall carpets, including the stair, plaster and plastics, the latest chair. Cookers and washer and Frigidaire. You have to be careful to keep the score. It's fun to go better than Jones next door.
We had money left over because we built it
yes,
ourselves,
yes,
and at the
okay.
time we wanted to carpet the place. And there was a type of carpet called sunray carpet on the market, which consisted of dyed cow hair needled into latex. It looked pretty, it lasted about 12 months, and every time we used a vacuum cleaner, it would just disappear up in a great big cloud.
Up the vacuum.
We're very disappointed with that.
And when the children were tiny, most of it ended up on their hand. They'd take their hands up, and there's the carpet on their hands.
There was a lot of
yeah.
junk around those days
There
because
was,
it was still a
yeah.
seller's market. It was still hard to buy things. And because it was cheap and we were young and inexperienced, we bought it, and it was rubbish. We had to pull it all up and throw it out.
One of the offers that this particular building company made was that they were prepared to paint each and every room in 3 different colours of your choice. That may be extravagant, but I think at the time loud colours and sort of clashing colours were the in thing. So I took advantage of their offer, and I think every room was in fact painted in 3 colours. I suppose that includes the ceiling, so you got 2 walls, different colours, and then you got the ceiling.
The colour was nice, and were nice, and I liked that open space. It was more modern, and I never had been in charge of housework before, so I didn't know any of the drawbacks. I thought it was wonderful. I liked the rooms overlooking the gardens. There were Chinese gardens at the time, And it was really nice, especially the open space all around the houses.
Then you've got the hills hoist too. When you mentioned before, was there anything that overseas that we didn't know of? Well, that hills hoist, I suppose that is very
That
Australian.
was good, the hills hoist.
Yes, it was very Australian.
Yeah, at the time it was our idea of a perfect home. But as time goes on, you see that, you know, different things you'd like to alter. But we're still here.
Yeah.
I'd like to see someone who says they have built the perfect house. And I don't think there is one, because everybody's ideas are different. And that's what makes the world go round anyway.